Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of
the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast
with your host, the 2023 IBWAA Podcast Host of the Year, Jana, and her big brother, Jeff. Oh, the end is near. This episode comes in the middle of the final week. So next week, we'll talk a little bit about what happened in this final week, especially all the important stuff, because this week is all this. This team can clinch this if with a win and a loss by this team and that team. There's not too much of that going on, but I do need to apologize to the Detroit Tigers because I diminished last week. I pretty much had written them off. I don't know why. We could talk about them in Around Baseball, but yeah. I kind of messed up there. And you can let me know all about how badly I messed up on anything on our Twitter, Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Instagram and Facebook at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
On our website, siblingrivalrybb.com. Ton of stuff to talk about. Nothing too crazy as far as changes between the Angels and the Dodgers. But I guess we do have something crazy that we have to talk about. We'll get to that. But first, it's time to go to Anaheim. Actually, it's time to follow the Angels to the juice box. All right, to the city of Houston we go. The Angels went there for one final season versus their season. For one final series. It probably felt like a whole season, 4-game set, where they'd have to take on the Asterix, who are putting themselves in position for a not only a playoff spot, but just a playoff spot, really, because when I think about it, they're not one of the top two teams.
No.
In the American League. So they're going to have to play in the first round, but take a team that was well below 500 to start the season, wondering if Joe Espada, the new head coach or the new manager, would make it through the season. And yes, he does. And his team is ready to go to the playoffs. I noticed something that every time somebody got to second base, Tiny had to say something to every one of them. And usually they turn and look and they couldn't see him. And they're like, looking at Wash, I'm hearing voices, Coach. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, no, another meeting.
Yeah, we're going to have another meeting about hearing voices on the field. Anyway, the Angels, it looked like they were on their way to being swept. As they dropped the first 3 games, competitive. Like the second game was fairly competitive, 9-7. They would lose that. 13 hits for the Angels. They did.
I would say even in the first game, they were tied going into the 8th inning.
True enough. Yeah. So it's not like they didn't play them well. They just couldn't finish. And Derek Shelton, Pirates manager, said a couple of weeks ago when he was asked about things like, we just don't finish games. And that's something I hear Wash saying. Ron saying to the team, hey, you guys are doing this. We got to learn this, but we got to learn how to finish. Part of learning to win is learning how to finish. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking about that with another team. Maybe not this week, but we're going to have with that. Kevin Pillar came back, hit a home run in this series. And it was nice to see that he came back because I was worried that here's a guy that says he's going to retire and he gets hurt right at the end of the season. I thought, oh, man, that's a bummer. But he comes back in time to get out there. And you know what's interesting? You start looking at the guys who are playing all the time. Tyler Anderson never missed a start.
Oh, wow. Now, That's impressive, but I will say I was curious, not in the first game, but in the second, third, and even maybe not so much the fourth game, but the second and third games, those were not supposed to be bullpen games, were they?
No, they weren't. And the second one wasn't really. The second one where Tyler Anderson pitched versus Verlander.
Yeah, but only
and he
two
just had,
and
yeah,
2 2/3 innings. So
yeah, he only went 2 2/3, but Kenny Rosenberg went 1. Roansy Contreras went 3. Really, it was only Brock Burke who didn't give up any runs in his 1 inning. It wasn't supposed to be, but yeah, they didn't use a lot of it.
No,
Asterisks,
I mean, it wasn't a true, it wouldn't be like a true. I just was looking at the line and I just wondered.
Well, the Asterisks actually threw, so the Angels threw the starter and 3 bullpen pitchers.
Yeah, so
the Asterisks, Verlander went 4 2/3, gave up 6 runs in that game, and then they had 5 pitchers.
Oh yeah, so maybe on the other side, it was
more of a bullpen game there. It felt like,
yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't scheduled to be. They haven't really done that a lot this year. I think because they figure any game could potentially become a bullpen game. The other pitcher that has done well all season as far as not missing, Griffin Canning. He's had his problems, but he's been there. And the only start that he missed is because they put an opener for him to see if that would help him. Otherwise, he would have made that start as well.
Yeah.
The third game, that one, Reed Detmers got shellacked, gave up 7 earned runs. After a couple of good starts, he had a really bad outing. 7 earned runs on 9 hits over just 2 innings. And he only gave up 1 home run. Usually there's 3 or 4 at that point, but only 1. And Ronel Blanco, and then he only gave up 2 runs over his 6 innings. So that worked out well for them. The Asterisks, I think they clinched during this series for a playoff spot. They're still making their way past. This week they got to play Seattle,
right?
And that'll determine whether they when they clinch. And then finally, this is a game you can say they finished.
They did. And it was exciting.
It was. They even knocked Josh Hader out of the game. So the Angels go through the first 5 innings with zeros. And the Asterisks had built up a 4-run lead. And then the Angels just went crazy. They scored 2 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, 1 more in the 8th, and then 4 more in the 9th to take a 9-8 victory and avoid the sweep. And
I was going to say, in this game, they took the lead in the 8th on the Zach Neto home run, and he had 2 home runs in this game, 6 RBIs.
Oh yeah, he's got a long way to go. Yes. I have to say, overall as a complete player, but this year, here's a problem. So this year he's shown what he can potentially do. But we've seen this with guys having a great year, and the next year they're terrible with the Angels. So I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna reserve judgment on whether we should be anointing him, the next all-time great shortstop. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff this year that very few other people have done. He's in, rarefied air with some shortstops like Cal Ripken Jr. and A-Fraud for things that he's done, numbers he's put up. Where was he? I think he's at like 22 home runs or 21 home runs. I think it was 22 on that one. And he hit one of them off of a guy that you like saying his name.
Arraghetti.
Exactly. So yeah, great game there for him. Like I said, you said 3 for 5 and 6 RBIs, 2 home runs. He really drove everything. There wasn't Jack Lopez went 2 for 2 in that game. Other than that, if not for Zach Neto, they probably lose this game. I mean, that was pretty much it. The asterisks were the asterisks. In that game, Altuve with a home run, Alex Bregman with a home run. I don't remember if it was. That game, Yordan Alvarez goes out with a knee injury, sliding into second base. He gets up. He's having a hard time getting around. And honestly, I haven't checked to see what happened with him. So you might know, and can share with us about that a little bit later.
I will.
So Griffin Canning gives up 4 runs, only pitches 4 and a third, gives up 2 home runs in the game. And that one looks kind of like a bullpen game as well. And that's it. The Angels now go to Chicago, and then they come back home to finish up versus the Rangers. And I was thinking about this, and I meant to bring it up last week when we were talking about Chicago. Do you think that David Fletcher is jealous of his brother Dominic? Because while David went to Gwinnett in the AAA team, he ends up the season in AA with the Braves, and his brother is playing right field in the majors.
Yeah, maybe. And did we ever hear anything what happened with him as far as the whole gambling? I never heard anything. So apparently is
whatever
fine.
He's doing, I guess he must not have been doing it in baseball.
Right.
Or betting on any kind of baseball, because that all went, or maybe like everything, they're still investigating it all. And we know there's like 2 or 3 things going on that we haven't heard anything about. As far as those investigations go, and we'd really like what is happening. Tell us so we have an idea. Giving us an update, MLB.
Right. Yeah, something.
But so far, they ain't not done that. So, another thing that happened this week, Mike Trout spoke up.
Yes, he did. He seems frustrated.
Yeah. I think, he's as frustrated with his own stuff as he is with the fact that this team, you can see this team's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And he said stuff out loud about it, but he has no leverage really. Even though he's the biggest name, they can't trade him. He could say, I want to trade, but they're not going to get anything for him, so they're not going to trade him. He's owed over $200 million still. Still got like another 7 years. They're going to get rid of Rendon before Trout ever goes.
Yeah.
I don't know, if the things that he said, DHing more, moving to a corner outfield spot, if those things will work, great. But at this point, even the guys on the team, Taylor Ward said that Logan O'Hoppe was their captain. And Logan O'Hoppe is a catcher, which typically means they're pretty good leaders usually.
Well, yeah, because they, they're kind of the captain of the field, right?
Field generals, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, whatever. And I think that makes sense that you would say, because O'Hoppe is the captain, because Trout's not there.
Right.
And so you got to have somebody that kind of stands up and kind of takes that leadership role, and it's not going to be Rendon.
No, he's not even sure he wants to play.
Right.
Let alone. But that's the thing that, Trout should be there even when he's not playing. This is the guy. This is people all believe he's a Hall of Famer, even if he doesn't do anything else. And it's probably true by what he did do, what he could do. if he's, falling. But as he gets older and these injuries, even setting out for a year, he's still getting older.
Yeah, you can't stop that.
Right. So Angels, like I said, the Angels travel up to Chicago. We'll see. Will they be able to be the team that Chicago sets the all-time loss record with? Because they the Sox go into the series with 120 losses. They've tied the all-time modern day record of 120 losses.
Right.
Will they lose to the Angels so that they can, set that record? And I saw something interesting about the White Sox. Next year, I think I read, is their 125th year. And wouldn't that be great if they lost 125? And then the 125th anniversary and 125 losses, they could be like, hey, the celebrations.
Co-celebrate. I will say, whoever is running the Twitter feed for the White Sox, they're doing a great job. They have the best.
They're having fun with
you got to. And that was our whole point too. Earlier, I don't know, a few episodes ago, when we knew they were getting close to this, it was, did we strike a chord with the White Sox fans? Because we're like, root for them to lose. Come on, they'll be in the record books. They're, why? Because then you're rooting for something.
Right. Something to celebrate. It's a record.
Yeah, it's a record. So we'll see if they have changed their tune when we talk about them next week.
Perhaps. We'll see. Anyway, do you have a player of the week for the Silver Lining Angels?
Yeah, I could. There's always guys I can go with. I think every week I'm like, Taylor Ward, because he's just consistent. He's just a consistent ball player. But I went with Zach Neto. He had those 2 home runs. He had 2 doubles. He had 6 RBIs. So I just went with Zach.
Eric Wagaman would be another choice.
Yeah, he was another.
He's been playing pretty well. I went ahead and I compared Neto and Taylor Ward, and I went with Taylor Ward. 294 batting average, just 1 home run, 2 RBIs, but that's the key. He's batting leadoff. He's getting on base, and that sets up Zach Neto to get some RBIs to do that. So I went ahead and gave it to him. I haven't given it to him in a little bit, and he's been pretty consistent as well. And I think I gave it to Zach Neto a couple weeks ago. So spread it around. That's what the Silver Linings are all about.
That's right.
Spreading it around, because what else do they have?
It's time for Dodger baseball.
So after a split in Atlanta, the Dodgers headed to Miami to take on the dreaded Marlins.
Yes.
And you know what? Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen like any of these posts where it'll say first player you think of when with this team? And you'll say like Pittsburgh Pirates. What's the first name that pops in your head?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know this, but not long ago that came up, and it said, what's the first player that pops in your head when you think of the Marlins? And I didn't think, to me, it was just Marlins, not. And so this guy would have been there when they won a World Series, and they were the Florida Marlins, and Jeff Conine.
Oh.
Was the first name that popped in my head while watching the series versus between the Dodgers and the Marlins. I kept hearing them say, long fly ball to right field. Conine, nice catch. And I'm like, are the Marlins so hard up they brought back Jeff Conine? No. It's Griffin Conine, Jeff Conine's son.
Yes, that's right.
I was like, wow, that's kind of cool when you see that, that they're playing, unfortunately for Griffin, he's not going to have the same kind of, experience in Miami that his dad had.
No.
Two things. His dad had to play outside in Joe Robbie Stadium, and home of the Miami Dolphins. And then, his son gets to play indoors.
Yes.
I don't even know what
different.
the name of their field is down there. I know it used to be they used to have a big like oasis out there in the outfield.
Yeah, and they took that out, and that's in front of the stadium. I want to say Lone Depot, but is that?
Oh yeah,
is that right?
It
okay.
is, and you know why I remember that? We'll tell you in a second.
Okay. All right.
All right. So Dodgers head there now. Before we go into what happened with because the Dodgers had two series that we need to talk about versus the Marlins, and this is the exciting series, I think.
Yeah.
And then they also come back home to play the Rockies. So we're going to talk about those, but I need to put this out now. I texted you, I think maybe it was during the Atlanta series, or maybe it was in the first game of this series versus the Marlins. And I said, because we were going to name the episode after something you told me. I said the Dodgers are on their way to being a wild card. They're not going to win the West. They're going to be a wild card. And then, not in that same frame, but as I continued to look, I went and I started doing more comparisons. And I want to put this out now before anything else. And I just saw on Twitter that somebody else agrees with me. But he said it first, even though I was thinking it before I read what he put out. My World Series prediction, San Diego versus Houston. A World Series that nobody's going to want to watch.
Absolutely not. I would never never watch those games.
Unless you're a Dregs fan or a Houston fan. And you know what's the sad part? Normally I would root for San Diego because they've never won a World Series before.
Right.
But I'd almost have to root for Tiny and the boys just to beat them. But I wanted to put that out because we're recording this. The second game of the series has not been played yet with the Dregs. But I believe this before we even knew what things were going to be like when they got there. And this is based on a lot of different things. And we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to put it out there to start. All right.
Okay. Fair enough.
First game out. I don't know. You take it from here. I mean, they scored 2 in the 9th inning.
They did score 2. They did try to come back, but they lose this first game 11-9. You're like, really? You lose to the Marlins? But I think the problem.
We are the Marlins, the mighty, mighty Marlins.
I think the problem was who started. And that's Bobby Miller.
Sorry, that just made me laugh.
Bobby Miller.
Not Bobby Miller, the mighty Marlins thing.
Well, he maybe, I don't know, maybe make us cry.
I can't. I was going to say it's a little more of a tragedy.
It is because
not a traumedy.
No, not a traumedy. It's a tragedy. 2 innings pitch, gives up 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, and then 2 strikeouts. And next day, no locker.
65 pitches.
65 pitches in those 2 innings. No locker in the clubhouse.
So he had to get dressed on the bus?
He had to, he was on a plane.
He had to get dressed in Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City, exactly. And so he was sent down after that performance. But in this game, Shohei hits number 48, his 48th home run of the season. But there was a guy on the Marlins, Jesus Sanchez, who's never had he's never had a 5-hit game. He goes 5 for 5 in this game with 2 doubles, has 3 RBIs. Otto Lopez, Jake Berger, Jake Berger is one of those players that he has a lot of power. And he always hits home runs, it seems like. I don't know how many home runs he has. Obviously not as many as Shohei or even Teoscar Hernandez, but yeah, he can be trouble at the plate, and he certainly was. Ohtani was 1 for 5 in this game with that home run. Betts 2 for 5, Freeman 1 for 3, and I think that's important because those top 3 guys, all of them have to hit, and we will see in some other series where that didn't happen. And Max Muncy in this game. He was 3 for 5. He had 5 RBIs in this game.
You know what's interesting?
With 2 doubles.
That 5 for 5 thing kind of like, I think, inspired somebody.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up.
We're going to talk about lots of stuff coming up. I hope you remember all the stuff.
I don't even remember what I said. So, because
I thought it was 5 for 5. Isn't
off.
that like Wendy's or something? I don't know. Anyway,
they have that, the 5 for 5 sandwiches. And
yeah, whatever. Yeah, Miguel Rojas had a home run in this game, but the Dodgers. Huh?
Miami. He was a Marlin at one time.
Yeah.
His buddy Jazz Chisholm Jr. not there anymore.
Not there.
So,
yes.
Couldn't have a full reunion.
So Dodgers shake this one off. Show up the next day. Landon Knack is on the mound, and this really, I think, is a audition for a postseason roster spot in the pitching staff, but it's almost like we really don't have a choice. But Landon Knack has looked good. I think he went 5 innings in this game. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, and 2 walks, but got 7 strikeouts. So jumbo jacks for everybody. That's always a good sign.
Woo-hoo.
And but I think there's been a couple of rough here and there, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid, and hope he can continue that. Shohei in this game, Dodgers win this game 8-4. Shohei steals his 49th base during this game. And in this one, the lineup was a little off. Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar, who went 0 for 4. Betts went 0 for 5. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 5 with a double. So I'm wondering, maybe not put Teoscar there, but we saw the same thing with Tommy Edman when he was moved in the lineup. His production went up.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. I thought that was interesting. But Will Smith had a home run in this game. So did Kike Hernandez. Even CT3, who has been off this season, was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. This third game, the marquee game, the game that will be talked about
Forever.
Exactly, forever. This one is Shohei Day. Dodgers win.
Shohei Day, night, millennium. It was all.
It was all encompassing.
And this is where I'm saying Shohei was inspired by Jesus Sanchez.
Okay.
And his 5 for 5.
Yes. Okay.
And he felt that he needed to do him one better.
He certainly did. Shohei in this game, he is the first player in a game with 3 home runs and 2 steals. He had 2 doubles, 10 RBIs. Oh, and 3 home runs, number 49, number 50, and then for good measure, number 51. In addition, he stole his 50th and 51st base.
So not only did he create the 50-50 club.
Yes.
He did it one better.
Yeah, 51-51 club. He is all alone. Of course, Jose Canseco had to, pipe in and said, I started the 40-40.
I created the 40-40.
Yeah, well, you're not. Go away. You're done. You're washed up. He also broke the Dodgers franchise record for home runs in a season with 49. Sean Green had that record. When Shohei hit, that his 51st home run, I believe, is when Skip Schumacher said, "Oh, first base was open." And most of the time they're going to walk Shohei. But by this point, I mean, the Dodgers win this game 20-4. And Skip Schumacher said, if it was a tight game, 1-run lead, or we were down, by 1 run, I would probably have put him on. But you could read his lips in the dugout when he said, F that, I have too much respect for the guy. And then Shohei promptly hits a home run. And, he said it was a great day for baseball, not a good day for Marlins baseball. But the
Marlins fans, the Marlins fans were all standing with the Dodger fans that were there.
Yes.
They knew that they had just witnessed something incredible. Not only the 50-50 club, but Shohei goes 6 for 6.
6 for 6, exactly.
And 10 RBIs. What he did's never been done by anybody in a single game.
No. And I really think at that moment, it didn't matter if you were a Dodger fan or a Marlins fan, you were a baseball fan.
And they gave him a curtain call.
They gave him a curtain call.
And you got what?
And I got kind of teary-eyed watching that happen. I mean, that's as a baseball fan, that's amazing that he's been able
incredible
to do this. And everybody's standing on their feet. And I think too for Ohtani, it was fitting that it happened there at Lone Depot Park, because that is where he struck out Mike Trout in the WBC to win for Japan. Right. So a lot of good memories.
And that's why I knew it was Lone Depot Park when we said that, because he kept hitting home runs out there, and you could see the Lone Depot sign right there in right field.
Right. Everything was authenticated. They kept, I think at one point, Joe Davis was like, Joe Davis was like, Ohtani is naked, because they had everything. They had his shoes. They had everything. Now, the fan who caught the 50th home run ball, the Dodgers offered him $300,000, and he declined. And that baseball will be auctioned tomorrow, and the minimum bid is $500,000. So we will let you know how much it goes for, because it's going to go for way more than $500,000. It would be nice though that I get it, collectors, things like that, but that it would end up in the Hall of Fame where it should be.
Still could.
It still could. But exciting. Never.
Jack Flaherty didn't even have to pitch that good.
He really didn't. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, and walked 2. It was almost kind of like, everything else faded away. Who was on the mound? I don't know. Who pitched for the Dodgers?
Who did what? Andy Pages said 3 RBIs.
Right. Really? No, that's what I say. Yeah, it was all about Shohei. And I think he said after the game that he was relieved, to get it, just to kind of get it over with, and to, but he, the 50-50 part. And so now everything else is just what do they say? It's just gravy.
Well, and here's the bigger thing. And you noted it. I noted it. A lot of people noted it. He didn't say, when asked about that, his first words weren't, he did say, hey, he had to address it, but that wasn't his first thing. His first thing was, we won the game. And Shohei did something else he's never done in his career. He qualified for the postseason.
Yeah, he did. That's right. And after the game, the Dodgers had a champagne toast, and Shohei did address the clubhouse in a very short little speech, but it was, we're going to the postseason, and let's keep it going. Short and sweet, but classy with their champagne flutes.
So yeah, they made, at that point they qualified for the postseason. But unlike some of these teams that you saw, they qualified for the postseason. They're just blowing it out. I know the Brewers, when they did it, Jackson Churio, is his name Jackson?
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. There's a lot of Jacksons.
There's a lot. That must have been a popular name.
You know what's crazy is that, yeah, but he's not even from the U.S., but everybody thought that Jackson Holiday was going to be the Jackson, and it turned out to be Jackson Merrill is the guy.
See, there's another one.
That's what I'm saying. It was the wrong Jackson all along. But Jackson Churio's not 21. So they made him up a thing of his own stuff. In fact, the Orioles, when they clinched, did the same thing for Jackson Holiday, that non-alcoholic beverage.
Right. And I think they even had like a little stroller, and it had a little, toddler size jersey with their name on it. Yeah.
For his first Clinchmas.
That's right. That's right. His first.
I think they put that on their baby's first Clinchmas. All right. So an incredible game. We could probably go on and on about it. I actually got to watch that one as well, and just amazing.
Yeah.
What he did that day, and it would have been amazing if anybody did it, but because of the fact that. And of course, everybody ran up there. Yeah, he did it as a DH.
Well, that's the thing. I think, would they have said the same thing if he wasn't a Dodger?
I don't know.
Because I wonder that, because the Dodgers get a lot of hate from the other fans of teams. And so if the Dodgers had gone in and after, they clinched a playoff spot, just they're going to go to the playoffs, not their division, not anything like that. And they, had the goggles and were spraying each other and everything like that. They would have been, I can't believe they did that. It's just a playoff berth.
Right.
But other teams have done it, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, the Brewers were over the top, and then
the Guardians
waited. Guardians did it. I got that one a little bit because Stephen Vogt it's his first year.
Yeah, well,
manager, and he hadn't done that as a manager, but still, it's like this is the first step.
Yeah, and that was just a berth. I don't think they had won
the Central. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think for this, definitely for this series in Miami, it was. That game, you're like, oh yeah, the Dodgers won, but you're not going to remember, like you said, you're not going to remember who pitched. You're going to remember what Shohei did, and how I think all fans of baseball brought them together. I love the sign by the kid by the Dodger dugout. I skipped math to witness history.
As well as he should have. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So they end up taking the series there. They just dropped the first one. So it seems as if maybe I'm a bit premature in the demise of the Dodgers. I don't think I am, but they do come back and win the other two. They're going to, what is it? Win some, lose some.
Yeah.
And then they come home to take on another lowly eliminated team, the Rockies.
Yes, the Colorado Rockies.
The Rockies come out in game number 1 with 3 home runs, score 4 runs versus the Dodgers. Charlie Blackmon had a home run. Michael Toglia had a home run. Sam Hilliard had a home run. And you're going, I don't know who any of those names are other than Charlie Blackmon.
Well, I know Sam Hilliard because he was here in AAA, and I've watched him play, and that would be the only reason. And he's a good ball player. And yeah, I think sometimes we could talk about the Rockies later, but yeah, and we will. We'll talk to him about around baseball.
Dodgers said, you know what? Not so fast, Rockies. We're going to hit 3 home runs too. And on Andy Pages hit one. Teoscar Hernandez hit one. And another guy who just does it without thinking.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, number 52. And you watch him hit it, and Mookie Betts is on deck, and the look on his face is like the best. If you go back and watch that, he's just like, what? Number 52. Not only is it he hits his 52nd home run, he also steals number 52, his stolen base. He set an MLB record by homering and stealing a base in the same game for the 14th time. He broke Ricky Henderson's record of 13 games with a home run and a stolen base. So good company there.
Yeah. One thing that I can agree with. I read recently they were talking to some folks in The Athletic. There's a good article there about doing this, and guys who've hit 50, guys who have stolen 50, more guys have stolen 50 bases than hit 50 home runs.
Well, Ronald Acuna Jr., this was another one. He had 40-70, 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases.
73 to be exact.
Well, 73. So 40-70 club, right? I guess.
Right.
And
which nobody had done that either.
And nobody had done that either. But it's like, why? And there are always fans. And this guy, I saw on Twitter, he was actually a Mets fan. And he's, trying to come out and say, well, what Ohtani's doing is not like, look at what Acuna did.
No, two
and I'm like,
things.
It's not the same. And the bags are bigger. That's the other thing I've been hearing.
The guys in this article, it was a positive story about that, but a lot of people are saying, oh, because of this. And they go, well, you know what? Chances are the reason it's never been done is because Barry Bonds, he hit 73 home runs one season, and he did steal 50 home runs, but he didn't do it in the same season. And he said, here's the guy in Ohtani, this is the season that it makes sense that he did it. He's rehabbing from a surgery on his arm, but he's not, if he was pitching every 5th or 6th day, he's probably not doing this.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. And that's the thing is this may never happen again.
Right. And for anybody, it's never been done for people who don't pitch and hit, And I'm really no other DH. The DH has been around for ages.
Yeah. Well, and I'm really tired of hearing about the bigger bags. Other than the jokes that are always funny with Tiny.
Right.
Those will never get old. If stealing a base is so easy, then why doesn't everybody have 50 plus stolen bases?
Right. And even that was in that story that I read, that was a conversation about, do you think that if in different circumstances, especially with Ronald Acuna Jr.'s knees, in the future, they're going to probably say, hey, cool your jets.
Right.
We need you to be more healthy and save your knees.
Yeah.
We don't need you to steal 70 bases, 20, 25, that's fine.
Yeah.
But that should be part of the game. But if he had to go through and do what he's done in the past, where he's pitched and hit at a high level, this is probably not happening. This is a once in a lifetime thing, as far as we can tell.
Yeah. Well, Shohei, in the second game, Shohei was only 1 for 3. I don't know what he was thinking. I know. I'm so
They
disappointed.
paid $700 million for that guy, and he only got a hit.
Now, in this game, the Dodgers lose this game 6-3. And you're like, they lost to the Rockies. Yes, it does happen. But they did lose. And Walker Buehler's on the mound. 5 1/3 innings pitched, gives up 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, but had 9 strikeouts. Did give up a home run. It's one of those outings where you're kind of like, is he maybe finding, getting back to where he was, or he's kind of maybe finding it, and hopefully he finds it at the right time? I don't know.
Well, for the Dodgers, knowing how the problems that they've had with pitching, and that their pitching seems to be falling apart. There for a week, everybody was leaving. Tyler Glasnow. Sorry, wrong Dodger pitcher, former Dodger pitcher, but Tyler Glasnow just disappears. Later to be fine, later that he's we knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Even though you said, Doc, we don't know what happened to him. He just left. But we know.
Yeah. He was excused. It was excused absence.
But the Dodger pitchers are just like falling off a cliff. And then, like you said, with what's his name, Miller.
Yeah.
He just was non-existent, even though he was there. You hope that whatever's happening, that looks better than some of his past outings. And so you hope that Walker can at least he did strike out 9, like you said. So
yeah, and I wonder, because I couldn't watch these games, I had to watch them, later, because I'm blacked out. Even though they're in LA, which I think that's dumb. But anyway, his pants?
The Rocky Mountain, sports
we don't.
Network
I don't
or
anymore. No. I had mentioned last week, I think that Walker Buehler needs to wear his pants tighter, because that's always been his thing. And I wonder, I'd have to go back and look and maybe compare, did he wear tighter pants in this outing that helped him get the 9 strikeouts? I don't know. That was always a signature thing. So I don't know. All right. Dodgers lose that game. Sunday's game, Dodgers look like they were going to lose. I checked the score. It was 4-1 Rockies. And I thought, are you kidding me? And then was doing stuff and checked it again. And the Dodgers win 6-5 in dramatic fashion. Shohei hits his 53rd home run to tie the game. Mookie Betts comes up after him to win the game. So back-to-back home runs.
And Shohei steals 2 bases. So now he's got the 53-55 club.
Yes. 53-55. And Kike Hernandez had a home run in this game, 2 RBIs. Now, Yamamoto pitched, and again, I didn't go back and, sometimes I'll watch like the condensed game, but he only went 3 innings in this game. He gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. So that does not give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. And
does the fact that Joe Kelly and Ryan Brazier came in, didn't give up any runs?
I love that. And I love seeing Joe Kelly back. I think Joe Kelly, I just read a little article where he said he feels like he's getting, like maybe he was out of sorts and now he's back and he's just trying to have fun out there. And I think for Joe Kelly, that's a huge thing. I think he just needs to not think, just be the pitcher that he is and go out there and throw. And he did that in that 6-5 win. So
don't think, just throw.
Just throw.
And you know what? But by reading his book, that's really because he got away from baseball for a little while, as much as he loved it.
Right.
Yeah. And it was like when he took up skateboarding that he finally got away from it, cleared his head, came back. I'm sure he wasn't out skateboarding necessarily, but but that's what he needed, and he needs to have fun. That's a given with him.
Yes. All right. So Joe Kelly and friends are on a mission to prove that baseball isn't boring. And of course, they have a podcast, but maybe we can get Joe on our podcast. That would be awesome. But maybe that's what he needs.
Since they'll be available after October 3rd, he might have the whole off season to.
We'll see. We will see. Anyway, but yeah, so that's something, and maybe that's kind of helping. He's on a mission to prove that baseball isn't boring.
How about this? Let's be on a mission to prove that the Dodgers can go beyond the first round of the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. That is the mission that we want. I'm just saying that maybe
he's not
going to
be as much of an issue as the guys who don't do anything that have created the issues in the past, like the offense or lack thereof.
Yes. Yeah. I think it seems like it's either the top half is just going crazy, hitting home runs, getting the hits where they need them, and then the bottom half does nothing, or it's the top of the top of the lineup that doesn't do anything, and then the bottom half comes in, or the middle. It's got to be consistent. I mean, it seems like duh. Yeah, but they need to be consistent and throughout, because you got to get them on base, and that's been a problem for the Dodgers, not just this year, last year, the year before that, runners in scoring position.
Well, we were just looking, and I said I looked in Facebook and the memories of posts from past shows, and a couple of years ago it was, can the Dodgers get past the Giants?
Yes.
So now it's, can they get past the Padres, or can they keep the Padres down? Mm-hmm. And the Angels continue to play out the string in a silver lining season. And we really could just recycle that and use it, because the Dodgers are kind of in a similar position again, where even though they made the playoffs, there's not a lot of, I think over the last few years, I think most of us are not confident that they can make it beyond whatever round they go to, whether they get a bye and they got to play, there, or if they have to play in the wild card. I don't see them, what it reminds me of, the way that I see them play sometimes, is the game. A few years back, I went to see the Dodgers play the Brewers in the playoffs, and that felt like a playoff game. In 2019, the first round that the Dodgers played was versus the Nationals, and that didn't feel like a playoff game for the Dodgers. Felt like it for the Nationals, but not for the Dodgers. The Dodgers need to have a better vibe. They need to go out there to play, and it's not like somebody said, I don't want to see another thing of Mookie going, I feel okay about it, as he puts on his bowling shoes.
Or grabs his pickleball racket, because that's his new thing.
His big thing.
Yeah, that's the new thing. I don't know what it is about the Dodgers. I feel like they get to this point. They play well. during the season. But even this season, they have not been the Dodgers of old. We talked about how no one has won 100 games in any of the divisions across baseball. The
Do you know
Dodgers
when the
have
last
done
time that happened?
No.
The
Tell
last
me.
time that nobody won 100 games was it 2013 or 2014? And the team that won the most that year was 98.
Oh,
you know who
right.
that was?
13, 14. I don't know. The A's? I don't know.
No, it was the Angels.
Oh, the Angels. That's right. See, that I would never.
People forget about that. That from right around 2002 until till 2014
That's
was the
true.
last time that they made it to the playoffs, and they were winning all the time.
Yeah.
They weren't doing well getting into once they got in the playoffs, they were being very Dodger-like. In that case, but it would be nice that the Dodgers could win. Not to diminish the 2020 team, because everybody played hard, and that was a harder season. I think.
Oh yeah.
But
I think so too.
But they were also not as tired after playing 162 versus only playing 60.
Yeah, and this is I don't know. Do we need to do our player of the week? Because I think I got Shohei. You got Shohei.
Who else? Who else
Yeah.
is there? I mean,
So,
this
okay.
time there's really no other way around it.
Yeah, that's our So, but I have a question for you. Well, before we get to that question, I just real quickly, Clayton Kershaw is in a holding pattern. We're seeing those aviation, runway, that kind of thing, giving him lift off. He is in a holding pattern because they're not sure about October. I think he still is hoping to get to October to be able to play, but we'll see. But with the bye, be a good thing for LA to be able to rest their pitchers, rest the bullpen, especially rest the legs like of Miguel Rojas, who has been huge this season for the Dodgers, I think. Or would it be better for them to be a wild card this year and have their backs against the wall and see, will that change? Will that attitude change? Like, if we got to move on, we got to win these games now. Whereas we have some time to rest, and then they lose the games anyway when they come back from the rest. I know at the beginning I was like, yeah, maybe they should be a wild card, because maybe that would be a different attitude. But I don't know if it would be they're kind of like, I never know how to, I guess I can't read them well, because they have exciting moments like the 6-5 win on Sunday, when they beat the Rockies, and they had the back-to-back home runs, and Kike had a home run, and but then they have other games where you're just like, do you even want to be here? Do you have someplace else to be? And I think too that for the most part, Dodger Stadium's always rocking. There's always 50,000 plus. But I think too that when the Dodgers seem lackadaisical, the crowd kind of takes that on too, and it becomes flat. And sometimes the Dodgers look flat, but they can't be flat in the postseason.
Well, I think that normally I would have said they need to be in the wild card.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, who would they play? They would play, if they moved on, if they were in the wild card versus the Brewers, they would play the D-backs. I don't know if I want to do that to start off.
Right.
Right. Because the D-backs know, they know their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
They have better pitching, and they have enough offense. And Ketel Marte has just been on top of it, along with Eugenio Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
And they both beat up on him last time they played.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as letting them get everything in place, they need a bye this time. Will they get it? There's a lot of questions. San Diego's been playing really well. I don't know if they can, overcome them. I mean, they can, but I don't know if they will. Because San Diego's, because they got everybody back strong, they've got a good, they've got a better mindset coming in. They've got more spirit to their game, and the Dodgers just look like every year. Okay, we're here.
Yeah.
We're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's
it's old
gotta
hat.
be, there's got to be, how can we infuse get that enthusiasm back? There's a lot of things that they could use to, get going with,
my hope is that the guys, like I said, that Shohei looks at it and says, like I said, hey, we're here. Now let's do something. He wants to win, hoping he can help, get that. These other guys, these younger guys that will probably be on the roster, they can do it. Miguel Rojas seems hungry to do this. Can he do it? That's what I want to see. It doesn't matter that you've made the playoffs 12 years in a row when you haven't won but once.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because nobody cares that, whoopee-doo, you made it to the playoffs.
If you don't win the last game of the season, nobody cares. I mean,
I think for me too, at the beginning, I thought, maybe change of scenery for the Dodgers as a wild card, but knowing the struggles with the pitching rotation, the use of the bullpen, and the bullpen has been great, but having the Dodgers have that rest, but still preparing for, for the games, not having, you have mandatory workouts, they're still working out, they're still doing those things, but they have some, there's some rest going into it. I don't know if it will make a difference, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell as far as that goes. So Dodgers have the Padres in for 3, and then they finish everything up in Colorado, where we might see somebody like Tony Gonsolin.
Maybe. I mean, they've kind of thrown that around, but I think that's probably off the table. I don't think he's going to start in Colorado. Of course, they have said that before and have gone back and said, oh yeah, he'll be there.
Well, I think that he may not be. They did say he might be on the postseason roster. Even he is an option,
right?
But I think I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. You got Yamamoto. I think you need to give him the extra rest.
Yeah.
Flaherty, you could pitch, as normal, but you want him ready for the playoffs too.
Yeah.
And if you end up having to start the wild card or be a wild card, then who starts game number 1? Game number 1's next Tuesday.
Right.
As opposed to the ALDS is not until the 5th. So that 6 days off is that what you want? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think pitching Gonsolin in Colorado is a better idea to see if he's even something that you really do want to take a shot with, even if he's a bullpen piece.
Yeah.
And because then he would be a long reliever. But if he comes in and he can't even, and I know Colorado's a hard place to play, period.
Right. Yeah.
But if he comes in and he's not hitting anything, he's Bobby Miller in it.
Yeah, no.
then let's hold off on
and maybe that
giving him a roster spot.
Right. Kind of give him a little bit of an audition, I guess, even though it's in Colorado. I know.
Just give him short runway. He's, you know.
Yeah. Oral Hershiser had mentioned too, with Colorado, having that be their last series in Colorado. It is tough. It's, obvious it's a mile high city. So the altitude, if you're not used to it, can be tough. So Dodgers have to stay hydrated, got to drink lots of water. But I think maybe coming out of Colorado, hopefully with a good series against Colorado, they should, you would think, but Colorado, they're just playing to play, and they're always up for playing the Dodgers. So, and it's going to be packed crazy there.
If a couple things that we've heard that we'll talk about in Around Baseball are coming to be, it's going to be even a bigger thing in Colorado. And how they play in Colorado and what they do is going to be determined by what happens this week, the beginning of the week with the Dregs.
Yeah. So it'll be, I don't know, it'll be interesting. But what I would love to see is, because this is another series I will not be able to watch. I think this last series, there's 3 games. Every team has their last series of the season. I think they should lift the blackouts and have free game of the week or of the day on the MLB app. You can watch whatever. Blackouts do not apply.
Yeah, they should just do like they do sometimes, where every game is the free game of the week.
Right, but the blackouts apply.
I know. I'm just saying they should do that, and with what you're saying.
Okay.
I concur.
Thank you.
I mean, it doesn't affect me because I can watch the Dodgers play.
I'm sure there's some way I could probably do it.
If I wanted to do it on the app, then I'm an idiot, because if I want to watch it on the MLB app, because I can watch it on the Sportsnet app.
Right, yeah.
Because I have that too.
Yes. Okay. Rub it in.
Yes, I am rubbing it in. And I will be rubbing it in when the Padres go to the World Series. Versus the Asterix.
Yeah.
No
one's watching that. No one's watching that.
I will, because we're going to talk about it. And so I'll have to pay some attention to it.
I'll look at the highlights. And yada, yada, yada. He hit a home run.
All right, time to get in the bullpen cart and take a ride around baseball. And like we do every week, it's time for the Players of the Week, MLB style.
Yeah, Players of the Week. We will start in the American League in Seattle with Julio Rodriguez.
Hooray!
433 batting average.
It's
a 1 point.
Nice to see him back.
Yes,
and doing
we had just talked about him. A couple episodes ago. Like, what's he doing? We haven't heard about him. Yeah, so here he is, Player of the Week, with a 1.218 OPS, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs in 6 games.
Nice, good job.
And jumping on the bandwagon of Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast is MLB, who also picked for the National League Player of the Week, Shohei Ohtani, 500 batting average, 1.688 OPS, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and he created the 50-50 club.
And imagine if he had pitched a no-hitter, if he was pitching in that same week. Could you imagine?
That would have been crazy.
I think they would just shut down baseball at that point.
I know.
Is there any need for the rest of us to play this game as long as he's here?
They're just passing out.
We mentioned that some things will be happening in Colorado. And one of them is that Charlie Blackmon has announced he is retiring. So the final game for him will happen versus the Dodgers. And, long, successful career all in one place. And when he leaves, there's a good chance that Bud Black might be going with him, but not voluntarily.
Yes. Yeah. Charlie Blackmon, one of my favorites to watch play, always has been fun to watch. I was talking to a guy I work with, and I said, I was like, I think Charlie Blackmon might be on his way out. And sure enough, the next day, he announced his retirement.
I thought about bringing him up when we were talking about other players retiring, because we brought up maybe Clayton Kershaw. Will he maybe retire? Probably not, and why? But I thought Charlie Blackmon, and I forgot to bring him up because that's what I do. I forget.
The one thing that will be different if you've ever been to a Rockies game or you watch the Rockies on TV is Charlie Blackmon's walk-up song, which is Your Love by the outfield. And everybody, it doesn't matter if you're a Rockies fan, what fan you are, the song, everybody sings the chorus. And I think that's going to be, I'm going to miss that. I know some sports writers are not, but
who cares?
I'm going to miss that because it was just something fun. Speaking of Bud Black, his contract expires after the season. Rockies haven't made a decision on this. The Rockies have bigger problems than just Bud Black. And is Bud Black really the problem, or is it the ownership, which seems to be a common theme right now with, we talked about Artie, always talk about with, John Fisher with the A's, the Rockies owners fit in there as well because they haven't done anything. The Rockies will be getting new City Connects next year. So, haven't said what they'll be like. But we'll see. They're going to get rid of the green and white. Also, Boston, the Red Sox are also getting new City Connects.
I wonder what theirs are going to go to from the yellow.
Yeah, and the yellow was, like with the Boston, the flag, and it went along with the Boston Marathon, and
right.
But I think it's going to be more maybe in the colors of those traditional colors, but we'll see.
If the Rockies change up their City Connects, do you think if they were to make it to the World Series for the second time in their history, would they wear the City Connects when they were at home?
Why not?
I don't know.
I think they should. But, the Rockies are one of those teams. They had some different, uniforms. They had it's not a sweater, but it's like a sweater vest looking thing that they
they had the armless.
Yeah.
The Reds had for years.
Yes. Yeah. So they've had some different things.
Not armless. Sleeveless.
Yeah. Armless. I didn't realize you said
up
that.
There and tried to bat with the bat in my teeth.
That might be something new. I don't know. Though speaking of the Reds,
that could go back to Survivor Ball and all of that stuff.
It could. Yes, you can't use your arms to swing. Speaking of the Reds, David Bell was fired from the Reds after 6 seasons. So we'll see who gets to step into that role. And Skip Schumacher is likely to leave the Marlins after this season because the club voided their 2025 option on his contract. So we will see. San Francisco is expecting, and this is according to Farhan Zaidi, that Blake Snell is going to decline his $30 million player option and take another shot at a long-term contract. He's still looking for that $200 million for however many years, but we'll see if that happens.
I guess. Now, was this his decision, or what's his name? His agent's decision.
Oh, right. Scott Boras. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that would be, does he get a new agent? You know?
Well, Jordan Montgomery did. He didn't like
Yeah.
the way that all went down.
So
And,
because will it be, you know, second time a charm? I don't know. Third time a charm? Fourth
what
time?
what has he really done? I mean, I know he finally got a complete game and a no-hitter.
Right. And that, yeah.
But in the big picture, what has he really done?
Well, and yeah, he really hasn't, you know, got he has 2 Cy Young awards. But, you know, when you look at the Cy Young last year, when he was with the Padres, there really wasn't a good group of pitchers, you know, that just stood out. That was like, you know, nobody was doing what Chris Sale is doing in Atlanta.
Right.
Not even close. So it was kind of like, well, all right, you know, he's out of everybody. He's the best one.
Right.
But he really wasn't the best. You know what I mean? They weren't all, none of them were really like lights out. So I don't know. That's a good question. Is it his idea? Is it Scott Boras's idea? And will teams be willing to, you know, deal with him?
I don't think, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to want to do it. What we'll see is if somebody jumps to it right off the top. So that, and I'm sure he's going to want to sign early on so that he knows going into the new year, he'll be one of those that maybe signs in December if he can,
right?
If there's interest. So he's ready for spring training, because that's one of the biggest things that we know affected him. Once he got towards the end of the season and he'd had more time to ramp up and to condition, that's when he did everything that he's done.
Right. Yeah.
I forget about him.
I do too. I didn't even think about it until I was reading this. Farhan Zaidi was talking about, you know, even if he will be there in San Francisco next season. We'll see.
Right. I wonder if he's like hoping by putting that out there, Blake Snell will go, well, maybe they don't want me back.
Maybe
that's
reverse psychology right there. CJ Abrams, not with the Nationals. He was demoted because they were playing the Cubs, and he thought it would be a good idea to go to a Chicago casino and stay out until 8 a.m. in the morning. And then he had to suit up for a 2:00 game. He goes 0 for 3 in that game. And after the game, they said, yep, that's not going to work. And he doesn't just go like to AAA. They demoted him to single A. And of course, you know, that their season has been over. So he's probably in Florida, maybe
doing rookie league, instructional league kind of stuff.
Exactly. So, but
from an all-star to
yeah,
a single layer.
So let that be a lesson. Don't go to a casino and stay out. You can go to a casino, but don't stay out until all hours of the night.
And if you ask Keith Hernandez, he thought 8 a.m. was a bit excessive. 4 a.m. is one thing, but 8 a.m., that's a little much.
That 4 a.m. is crazy.
Like Keith Hernandez has been out like that at some point.
He must have. Oh, speaking of Keith Hernandez, because, you know, I love Seinfeld. I saw a jersey, and I think it was a Mets jersey. And, you know, you can get your jerseys custom made with the, you know, name and number and stuff like that. The guy had the jersey and it said second spitter.
So because you brought that up, recently, like in the last couple of days on Twitter, there's been a picture of an A's hat.
Yes.
And the way that the A is, there's a white A, and then it's like it fades off into the background in yellow and different, you know, forms.
Yeah.
But whoever did it didn't really think about it And so it ends up basically on the front of the hat spelling ass. and somebody posted that, posted a picture of that on Twitter and said, it's real and it's spectacular. And since you brought up Seinfeld, that made me laugh the minute that I saw that. The hat itself, look around Twitter, you'll see that the A's hat. And you could go to our website, siblingrivalrybb.com, hit the Fanatics link, and look up the hats for the A's and buy yourself essentially an ass hat.
You could, but it looks like that listing's been taken down. So
bummer, because they realized what it was. That's too bad. People ruined
it. Was
things.
supposed to be, as you mentioned, like a shadow design is what they're calling it, but it's an awesome design. So if you got that hat, you have a collector's item there. The Oakland Athletics New Era Team Shadow. And part of me wonders, it's like, this is a cool design, but I have a feeling they knew what they were doing.
Somebody signed off on that going, no, exactly.
Yes. Rowdy Tellez of the Pirates and has been with many other teams. The Pirates, I feel, kind of did him dirty. They DFA'd him. But in his contract, part of his contract was if he made 425 plate appearances, he would get a $200,000 bonus. And the Pirates DFA him. At the time of his DFA, Rowdy has 421 plate appearances.
Yeah, that's
seriously, come on. Let the guy get 4 more, pay him his $200,000, and then let him go.
Yeah, what's $200,000?
I
mean,
not when in the scheme of MLB. Seriously.
Well, yeah, if you can't afford the $200,000, why do you even own a team?
Right. Exactly.
I think we're going to have to talk about an owner in a second, but
yes. Did you see when Houston was playing the Padres at Petco Park?
I saw some of it, yeah.
And Jose Altuve got ejected from the game, and because he said he got hit in the foot, and the umpire's like, no, you didn't get hit. He proceeds to take his cleat off, his sock off to show a red mark, or what he's hoping is a red mark on his foot, and then he gets ejected. That was,
Yeah,
crazy.
He's like limping over there because he's still got one shoe on. He won't take his jersey off.
No, but he'll take that sock off.
He took that sock and that shoe off. And what I love is that all of the Hobbit references about him being barefoot and being so tiny.
Yes. I wonder if he eats second breakfast. That's a Hobbit thing.
Hey, I must be Hobbit. I eat second, third, fourth breakfast. Good stuff.
The
thing is that that's a crazy thing to get, and he did it fast.
Yeah.
To show that he did that, but what if
it was almost like he had those Skechers slip-ins cleats.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what it was. He's lucky though that people were paying attention to him, because it would have been real easy. He's so tiny and unnoticeable most of the time that the umpire or his coach could have stepped on him and he would have ended up on the wheel.
Oh, right. Okay. I was waiting to see if you're done. Not a lot. Will Viella is quiet. Got a lot of 60-dayers on the IL, so they've been hanging out at the on the wheel. But we have
At
Yankees pitcher
injury
Nestor.
trough.
Yes, Nestor Cortez got an MRI on his elbow. Said he's going to be out 7 to 10 days. The UCL, he had an MRI. The UCL is intact, but he is going to get 2 other opinions and will probably receive a PRP injection. And they'll go from there and see what's going on. And then you mentioned
PRP injection.
PRP, yes.
What is PRP?
It's like a plasma.
Plasma rich.
Yeah, plasma rich.
Plasma?
Platelet rich plasma.
Okay.
Got
I
it
was like,
backwards.
is that like dodgeball? The American
Yeah.
Dodgeball Association
Well-
of America, the platelet rich platelets.
Platelet
No, I
rich
gotcha.
plasma. Yeah, so it's a biologic therapy that uses a patient's own blood to help heal injuries and conditions. So,
I wonder if that really works. I never hear that it really works.
yeah, I mean, we've known several. I mean, there's been guys on the Angels, and because I was just thinking, there's been who was the guy that just recently this year from the Angels that had they got Tommy John surgery.
Patrick Sandoval.
Patrick Sandoval, and I think he got some PRP injections, and that didn't work. So, and then he got surgery. So, but yeah, we hear about it. I don't know how well it works. And then Yordan Alvarez, you mentioned him. He is listed as day-to-day with the knee soreness. He will not play in the final series versus Cleveland. He will be in Houston working out with trainers, see if he can get ready for the postseason. And that's it for the wheel. Those 2 guys. We'll see.
Well, yeah, anybody else now, for the most part, season's over for the bulk of the teams.
Yeah.
We're still looking. There are some, as far as like who's made it in, there's still some openings. We're waiting to see, if the Yankees are a game away from clinching the AL East, but they're playing the team that they're trying to clinch it from. In the Orioles. Detroit, I think, found themselves in because Minnesota's been having a hard time. Kansas City had a 7-game losing streak, but luckily they had set themselves up. So Detroit, out of nowhere, is coming up, and they've got Tampa Bay and then the White Sox. How fortuitous for them.
Yeah.
So next week we'll have the full idea of everybody, because when next we talk to you in the next episode next week, we will already be into the wild card series.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about what happened there, who's moving forward, if we know, because the first, second, and third is when. And if we have to push the podcast today, maybe we'll do that just to make sure we get that, because then the fifth is when all of the division series start.
Yeah, that everything starts, as you mentioned, on October 1st, and it's like, National Wild Card 2 versus the National Wild Card games are going to be game 1s, and then on the same day, the American League wild cards, and those will be on ABC, ESPN. So look for a full day of postseason baseball starting October 1st, definitely. And then it's going to be nonstop throughout October.
Now, one team that isn't going to be playing as we wrap things up today, and no surprise, the Oakland A's, who end up finishing better than the Angels did this season. Their players kind of came together. I think mostly because they didn't have a couple of overpriced guys that can't play. And that is, like I said, the Oakland A's. So everybody's been, they're kind of sad, angry. And there's been lots of guys who want to sell that would buy the team and keep them in Oakland. And I thought that everything was done in Las Vegas, but they still don't have a clear funding path for the new stadium.
They don't know where they're going.
Well, we do know they're going to Sacramento for 3 years.
Well, true. We know that much.
But
will Las Vegas be the end destination?
Yeah, will they actually get there? We'll see. At this point, it feels like that's a toss-up. If we went to our buddies at Back Alley Betting, when you absolutely positively need to break the law and make a bet, Back Alley Betting is for you. There's probably a good chance with the odds that it won't happen. And so they're playing their final homestand versus the Rangers, and then they end up finishing up on the road. So, people they raise the ticket prices because they know people are going to want to come out and see the final series. And then, what's his name? John Fisher?
Yes.
He puts out a letter to the fans. He won't even come and at least make a statement. He, PR firm drafts this letter that basically says, Oakland is a great fan base. It's wonderful here. Of all the places that the A's have been, 57 years, that there's really been a lot of history here. And then goes on to say, well, we tried 5 different locations. We couldn't get anything done. We wanted to bring another World Series to Oakland. It just wasn't in the cards. We tried, I think is what the end of it was. And that, of course, led to a lot of social media response, and the response from former ESPN Sports Center anchor and current ABC Bay Area anchor Larry Beal, that he went off and called John Fisher out as ruining the Fisher name and being a cheapskate. And that he said he could call any one of three different billionaires who'd happily buy the team. Problem is Fisher's not selling. And it's like, why not make the MLBPA, before they leave Sacramento for whatever, stand up to them and so that they can protect baseball in Oakland. Now, one thing I feel like is that the Oakland fans should have been out there supporting more. I kind of feel like at some point they realized, wow, this is really going to happen.
Yeah, I talked about this a lot. I felt like, I understood that they didn't want to support the team ownership. So they didn't go to the games and the attendance was really low. But I felt like that they needed to support the players of the team.
Yeah, they got some great players. I mean,
oh yeah, they have really good players. But
Brent Rooker has been having a career year. Lawrence Butler just had I sent it to you, 22 game hit streak.
Yeah.
And, he was, he came up last year as a rookie. He put it together this year. They've got other guys on the team that, they played well enough at the end of the season that we figured they were going to finish at the bottom, and they started winning more. Took a series from the Yankees along the way, as I recall. They end up winning, they end up being in 4th place. And probably if they had a little more time, they may have even made it up into 3rd. But because of the way they started off, and then the Angels didn't finish well, so they ended up behind them. But now it's a whole new time. It's going to be interesting to see the A's, and they'll just be known as the Athletics only, or the A's.
Right.
They're not going to even be just the California A's.
No, they'll just be the A's. And it's like that, a man with no country, it's a team with no city. Because, yeah, it's a big, they're going to go to Las Vegas, but that's not even a done deal. So who knows where they may end up. Would it be interesting to see if they don't end up in Las Vegas? They end up somewhere else.
Right.
Where will they end up?
Portland.
Who knows? Maybe.
I don't know. I mean,
at this time, any guess is good, right?
Yeah, you know what? We could just maybe we should be making that bet. Where are they actually going to end up? That would be.
Where will they be? Where in the world are the A's?
Right. The Athletics.
That's right.
Are they going to maintain a relationship with the Las Vegas Aviators, their AAA team? I mean, that'll make it easy. They could just go from one side of town to the other.
Right. You've got rehab
But they'd probably
start.
be late. I hear the traffic along in that area, especially down the strip, it's almost like a parking lot from what I understand now.
Yeah, it's bad. And you just want to just walk everywhere, get a Segway.
Maybe they'll helicopter them in.
Maybe they could. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would never get there unless you're, what do you do? Well,
you could rappel in.
Yes. Oh, you know how when we lived at Port Campbell and the game ball was delivered for every home football game, the game ball was delivered. Parachute in. Mm-hmm. So they could totally do that. Cannons when we got home, got touchdowns. Anyway.
There you go.
Of course, they could do that for home runs, but.
Sure. So, Oakland A's fans, if you're an Oakland A's fans, our condolences to losing your team. It almost makes me want to be an A's fan just for the fans and for the players. But I can't because then I'm also supporting, John Fisher and his idiocracy.
Yes.
And, it didn't work for them, but it worked for the Dodgers. When Frank McCourt was the owner, the Dodger fans stopped going. And he kind of saw the writing on the wall and got out of there. He had some other issues going on as well. It's not that simple. But
right. But you would think that you have all these banners that are just, derogatory toward you as the owner. Your attendance is awful and you don't care. I mean, you don't care because you're too rich. And why do you own a baseball team if you aren't invested in the team? I don't get it. I do not understand.
And that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast. Got the bullpen park, got the field covered, ready for the playoffs. Next week, we will know where the Dodgers fall in the playoffs. We'll know how they did versus the Padres and what happened in Colorado. Did they bring up some guys to pitch there to rest some others? Do they have the luxury of resting anybody because they're fighting for position? We'll see how all that goes. We'll talk about their series. We'll talk about the Angels and the White Sox. Did either one of the teams break their loss record while in Chicago, or will they have to wait for their final? The White Sox will have to wait for Detroit so that they can lose 121 or 125.
Yeah.
And will the Angels have to wait for Texas to break their record? So we got all of that. We'll also talk playoff baseball next week. We'll let you know via our social media if we're pushing back release time to Friday.
Right, which we often do during the postseason. We hop on. We, just are like, we got to do it. We got to get on and talk. because always lots to talk about postseason. Love postseason baseball, even though it drives me crazy, but I still love it. It's probably because
It's not going to drive you crazy. The Dodgers will be out of it in the first week. And
I'll just be sad in a corner.
You'll just have to find somebody else to root for until it's finally San Diego and Houston.
Yeah, I think I might just be watching the Sooners play on Saturday.
Check us out on our social media where we'll make any of these announcements about extra or later schedules or episode release times at Twitter, Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Facebook and Instagram at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
And, of course, our website that we've mentioned a couple times, siblingrivalrybb.com. And hit the Fanatics link and go find some other shadow hats because apparently you can't get an ass hat anymore.
Yeah, sorry to bring you that bad news, but maybe look on eBay.
Hey, we're just keeping it real.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. You know what? There'll be two things there that's out of your price range.
Yeah.
That hat and a Shohei bobblehead.
Yes.
So till next week, enjoy this last week of baseball. Hopefully it's as exciting as it looks like it could be. And hopefully the playoffs are incredible, whichever team you root for. We'll see you next week. And don't forget to swing away.